Across this whole series, I cloned my voice for free on my own machine. Part 1 was the setup, Part 2, the cloning, where Qwen won, Part 3, the dictation. This is the finale and is my favorite part. I'm going to give my cloned voice to my AI agents, so the tools I work with every day literally talk back to me in my own voice, no subscription. I'm gonna do it in a way that everyone can do it, developer or not. You just need an LLM. You can do this with Claude, Codex, whatever you want. And of course also with OpenClaw, Hermes, whatever. I'm gonna show it in the simplest way. And I'm not stopping at a normal voice. By the end of this video, my AI agents announces finished task to me as a 1940s film noir detective in my own cloned voice. Stay for that, it is worth it. Quick promise before we start, this is the one part of the series with a tiny bit of technical setup, but we are doing it in two normal apps, the Codex app and the Claude desktop app. No terminal, no code. If you followed the earlier parts, you can follow this as well, no problem at all. And if the setup is not your thing, everything I showed in parts 1, 2, 3 works completely without it. So we're in the Voicebox app. You noticed by now, part 1 covered everything. We're right now in the settings. There we can see that we have the server URL, the address of your Voicebox backend server. This is online. I got it only running while my app is active. I don't have the allow network access on, and I will leave as is. Let's see if it works like that. We're gonna switch to the MCP part, and we're gonna start with Claude Code. Here's the one-liner registers via the Claude Code CLI. Also, we got the HTTP and the studio fallbacks for clients that only spawn a studio process. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and see if Claude Code is able to access the MCP server just via the IP address of the backend server. Let's go. This is Claude Code. I'm on the max plan. I got a Voicebox server running locally. The MCP should be available under this address. Can you set everything up? Also try to bind a voice directly to you and name it Claude Code Impersonator. Okay, let's see if this actually works. I haven't tried it out yet. I wanted to try it out in a way that everyone can do it. You can just copy the local server URL here. Let's see if Claude Code can actually access this. I'll help you set up the Voicebox MCP server and bind the voice. Let me start by probing the server to understand its API and checking your current MCP configuration. The server is live, Voicebox API. This is the version. No MCP servers are configured yet. Let me discover the MCP endpoint and the API surface. Also, we can see this here, post generate. This generates speech. We got the server status under health, the list voices under profiles, and history with the past generations. And you can also view the full API reference. Let's see what Claude is doing. And you know what? We're gonna copy paste this and see if this is Codex. Just gonna do whoa, small mistake. Let's stop this. Of course, I want it to be Codex Impersonator. Now let's hit send and let Codex do its work. The MCP endpoint, I can see there's the MCP bindings API. That's exactly the bind voice to you mechanism. Let me inspect the binding and voice profile model before I configure anything. MCP endpoint confirmed working. You can see the speak, transcribe, and list tools. Bindings list is empty. There are existing cloned voice profiles. Oh, Lucas, now let me read the exact. Let's go to the MCP part, and you can see that we can give it a per agent voice. So for example, if you have different agents, in this case, we're doing it very simple, so you can play around with this. we got the desktop apps of both Claude and Codex, and this way you can try it out. Client ID, for example, let's add a binding Claude code. Let's give Claude the reference text, label Claude code, add binding, and also the codex. Codex, and this one will get the reference in German, so it will have a small accent. Now, that was a bit unfair because it was still working, and then I gave it the binding, still working. So we're doing this all live together. I haven't tried it out in both Claude Code and Codex. Let's switch over to Codex. Do you want to allow Codex to connect to your... Yes, do it. Okay, actually, it already saw. It'll be available across all your projects. All 4 voices are Lucas clones, the only working timbres since just the Qwen engine is loaded. The impersonator with Lucas English. Okay, let's see if... And it was added, so I did not need to actually bind an agent voice here in Voicebox. All done via Claude Code, so I'll actually get rid of the Claude Code one here because we have the Claude Code impersonator. Let's delete that one. Let's see. Binding created. As seen null, yeah, that makes sense because it hasn't been used yet. So as you can see here, the only thing that I did was, right, I got a Voicebox server running locally. The MCP should be available under this address. Can you set everything up? Also try to bind a voice directly to you and name it Claude Code Impersonator. And it found everything it needed. If you don't know what an MCP server is, basically it gives your agents the necessary tools to interact, for example, with Voicebox. I got a whole video explaining what an MCP server is in detail. You can find it here. Now let's see what Claude Code did. Important finding, I need to flag this. The bindings list now shows 3 entries and only 1 is mine. First two appeared during my session. Looks like you were creating bindings in the Voicebox UI in parallel. That's true. Claude Code presents its client ID as lowercase Claude Code, so the casing has to match exactly. Let me verify empirically which binding a real Claude Code connection actually hits. So as you can see, I just gave Claude Code the go to do this, set it to auto mode. Otherwise it would have asked a lot of times. For example, probably, yeah, Codex is not set to auto mode. All right. So Claude actually understood that I created this while he was creating the client ID, also understood that I deleted this in the front end. And now here we go, all set. Here's what I did. And the one thing you need to do, registered the MCP server. This is connected now. We got the endpoint, the scope, user available in all your projects, stored in Claude JSON, exposes Voicebox speak, transcribe, list captures, list profiles, bound a voice to you, client ID Claude Code, label Claude Code Impersonator. The engine is Qwen. Nice, this was the winner from video 2. Backed by profile Lucas English with reference text. While I was working, 2 bindings appeared that weren't mine. Yes, that's true, that were the 2 that I created in the front end. So it actually understood this. The session loaded its MCP servers at startup before Voicebox existed. Tools aren't in my current toolset. Restart Claude Code or reload MCP and they'll appear. To confirm it took after restart, last seen. Change the backing voice anytime, no restart needed. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna restart Claude Code and then see if we can actually use this. All right, I restarted and I asked Claude in the same chat, all right, Claude Code restarted. Are we ready to rumble? What am I able to do now? Let's find out. Also, Codex asks a lot of questions. We'll let Codex do its thing. Welcome back. Let me verify the connection is live and load the voice tools. Okay, I put in my headphones so I can hear what you are hearing. Tools are loaded and the binding is intact. Last seen at is still null only because nothing's been spoken yet. It stems on the first speak. So let me prove the whole chain works the fun way. I'll have Claude Code talk through your bound impersonator voice, no profile arc. So it uses the binding. All right. Audio should be playing on your speakers now. I'm not sure if you are hearing anything. I am not. And we can see this here, status post came back empty. The response shape isn't what I assumed. Let me look at the raw response and check history directly. Because we got it set to auto mode, it will try to fix things until we can actually hear anything. In the meantime, we're gonna take a look at what Codex is doing. Yes. So it doesn't matter which one you use, both should be totally fine to do this. I actually got Claude Code set to max and Codex 5.5 to extra high. So it should be able to work. Let's see if it will work once both actually interact with it. Meanwhile, Claude, now it's clear the status endpoint is an SSE stream. My parser missed that. Two facts, the MCP chain and binding works perfectly. So it routed to the things that I want, but the generation is stuck in generating. Duration 0.0 empty audio path. The actual TTS interference isn't completing. We might need to interrupt Claude at some point, give him some advice on what to do next. All right, 75 seconds and still generating with duration 0.0. That's not warm up, it's a stalled generation. Yeah, I agree. And this is why I love auto mode so much. I don't need to do anything. Let me diagnose the server state. You can always click in here and actually see what it's doing. If you're a dev, then this helps you. If not, it does not help you. But if we go through this chat, what we actually did is only the initial message 40 minutes ago, tell it that we have this local MCP server running, and it did everything afterwards itself. It told us to restart Claude Code. We did that, and starting then from there, it actually did everything itself. Diagnosis is clear, active is empty, the engine itself is fine. Okay, a Voicebox side issue, not your binding config. Let me clean up the zombie and fire one fresh attempt to see if it's a transient code start or a repeatable bug. All right, the second attempt is now running and we're watching the stream. This is a head-to-head race. The MCP server is now in Codex config as well and enabled. Codex is looking if it can actually find Codex impersonator. It should not be able to find one. Maybe it is clever enough to actually use the Codex one. Let's wait and see if it actually finds this one. All right, and it understood that there is the Codex one already, and it will rename it to Codex impersonator. Very nice. In the meantime, second attempt from Claude Code failed. Now it goes directly through the REST path. If you don't know what that is, don't thread. It's not too important right now. This is actually a fun one because we're not only trying out the MCP from Voicebox locally, but also running Claude Code against Codex here on this one, who does it better. Voicebox's generation worker itself is stuck. Every new job sits in generating forever while the active task stays empty. The last successful generation was today at 7:35, so the worker was wedged sometimes since then. Are we ready to rumble? What's proven working? The setup itself. What's blocking? And it's not the MCP setup. Voicebox's generation worker is wedged right now. I proved it's server side, not our config. Restart the Voicebox server. That almost certainly clears the stuck worker. To be honest, it might actually be the case that it's something in the settings from Voicebox or Claude Code did something wrong. Because now we got Codex who just said done. And we can see this was the only message that was sent. I got a Voicebox server running locally. So exactly the same as we had for Claude Code. Done, I added the global Codex MCP server. We got it here. I verified the MCP handshake and tool-list. Voicebox exposes. We've seen this with Claude Code. So it's labeled now Codex Impersonator. Let's take a look at this. This is true. It updated this, so that worked. One note, this already lives in, but the currently running Codex thread may not hotload the new MCP tools. The new thread or app restart should make Voicebox appear as direct MCP tools. Let's just ask Codex. So should we restart the Voicebox right now? So this might also help with the issue we had with Claude Code. Let's see. If you want to see what Codex has been doing, you just need to click on the 17 minutes work. No, I'd leave Voicebox running. It's healthy and already responded correctly to the MCP handshake and tool list. The thing that may need a reload is Codex, because the new MCP server was added to config. Okay, so also Codex wants a restart. Then let's try this. Claude Code said the same thing. Let's try it out. We are back in Codex. Codex was restarted. Can we try this now? And you read something to me in my voice, please. Let's see if Codex actually gets this to work. Claude Code failed so far. It says Voicebox is the problem. But I've seen that with Claude after some time. It just says basically everyone else has done the mistake but itself. Although you gotta say it tried a couple of things. We need to give it a couple of seconds until Codex actually did its magic. It started generating and Voicebox chose the Lucas English with reference tags. The binding timestamps didn't update, so this Voicebox build may not mark last seen at for MCP tool calls. The actual speak call did select one of our cloned Lucas profiles, so the voice side is working. I'm just polling the generation once so I can confirm it completed. In the meantime, I'm gonna ask Claude, please do some research if this is a known problem and how to fix it. Let's see if Claude can fix it on its own. I got a feeling that Codex is running into the same problem as Claude is. This really turned into a battle between Codex and Claude. This wasn't planned. If this has become too technical for you, I'm sorry, but the first 3 parts really were for non-technical people at all. But if you're still watching, you're probably enjoying this battle between Claude Code and Codex on who can get this Voicebox MCP server to run first. Okay, here's what I did. I started to go into split screen so you can watch the race with me together. What we can see here, this is Claude Code. As you can see all the way up there, Claude Code, Voicebox, MCP local setup. It's doing some research right now. And here you can see that Codex is still having problems. Put myself in the middle maybe. Yeah, so I think that's easier. And you can read more of the things. Or can you? A bit smaller. Okay, this is all freestyle, so this is gonna be a long video, but you can actually see what's going on. All right, so Codex is also stuck. The stuck generation is canceled. Retrying now with the tiny line so we can get a cleaner signal. Code, in the meantime, has found some issues. There might be a problem with Qwen there via the MCP. Gonna stop Codex there, give it the results. Maybe try it with another model. Is that possible? Okay, so I did some digging with Claude Code. There's a known bug, probably restarting Voicebox should fix it. Maybe it was the problem all along that we just needed to restart Voicebox. But I want to run one of the other tools to make sure it wasn't Qwen as the problem. If I would just restart Voicebox, we would never know if it would have worked right from the beginning or if it was just stuck. That is why I let Codex now choose another model. Chatterbox Turbo started clearly. I'll poll it now. If it completes, you should hear the result automatically because autoplay is enabled. So if we're hearing anything soon, then actually Qwen was the problem. If not, I'll restart Voicebox and we'll take it from there and try it out. Let's see if Codex can actually succeed now. So as you can see, MCP servers should make it easy for AI agents to actually work. Well, it's not always that easy. I got a feeling it's not working. Let's see. It's still generating after 5 seconds, so it might actually be the problem that Voicebox needs to be restarted. I'm gonna stop Codex right there. I'm restarting Voicebox now. I also made sure that the server was not running. As soon as the server is back up, I will tell Codex to try it again and see if it will actually work. If not, this will be the longest video I've ever done on my YouTube channel, because I really want this stupid thing to work. So we're back. Let's go back to MCP. Also, general server is online. And also, I got the feeling that we need to toggle this one on here. Okay, both a server and Voicebox restarted. Please try. If it doesn't work, might the toggle in the screenshot be the problem? Let's find out. But if you're still following along in this video, this is actual bug hunting here. I got a feeling that it might actually be this one here, allowing the network access, but it's crazy if Codex and both Claude Code didn't catch this. Okay, localhost access should work with it off. I'll try a fresh generation now. Connectivity is good. I'm sending a tiny English line to the cloned English profile first. Let's see if this actually works. Maybe restarting the Voicebox server was the problem all along. If not, I'm running out of ideas, to be honest. Hey Lucas, this is Codex testing Voicebox after the restart. Finally, we got it to work. Let's go. I hope you could hear this as well. I hope I set everything up in the right way, but you should have been able to hear this. I hope so. It worked this time. Voicebox completed the generation with Qwen. Duration 3.52 seconds. I heard it. Please run the test with this sentence as well. I am so incredibly happy that I finally got it to work. It's the sound of the plumbing behaving. I am so incredibly happy that I finally got it to work. Let's go. Let's see if Claude Code can also get it to work now that we restarted. I'm so incredibly happy that I finally got it to work. Nice. And this is the one with the nice, perfect German accent. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're back in Voicebox, and this is for everyone using the Voicebox app, not just for the MCP. Let's go to Edit. Personality, 1940s noir detective, world very cynical. Save change. We go back to the MCP. Let's see which had the English with reference. That was the Claude Code impersonator. So we're saying here, please use the binded Claude impersonator and say the following: thanks for watching this whole series and staying until this part after all the bug hunting. Let's see if this actually plays. We binded this personality there. This was a very long video. Thank you so much if you watched until here, but you could see me live trying all of this out. This was the 4-part series. And in the next part, let's see, we will hear this soon. No next part, but the next video next Sunday will be about 11 labs, so make sure to check that. Thanks for watching this whole series and staying until this part after all the bug hunting. Let me know what you think. Did that really sound like a 1940s noir detective and cynical Lucas or not? Again, thank you so much for watching this video, for watching this small 4-part series. Let me know if you now use Voicebox for either text-to-speech or for dictating or as an MCP for your AI agents that talk to each other. Because, for example, we could let them all talk to us, create a little Iron Man feeling. And well, that's it for this video. That's it for this series. Thank you so much for watching and see you again in the next video.